how do you decide what fingerpicking pattern to use for a particular song? This was a question a student asked, and I thought it was a great question. So I got a couple of tips that'll get you going, and like anything else, there'll have to be some judgment involved, just like deciding what strum to use for a song. Now, the first thing you want to do, just like strums, is learn a repertoire of fingerpicking patterns. It doesn't have to be extensive, and you can add to it, but at least get a few basic fingerpicking patterns in 4/4 time and 3/4 time. Now, what I'm talking about is patterns that have 4 pulses to a measure, one like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be a 4/4 time pattern, or a 3/4 time pattern. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there are a number of patterns that you could learn that fit the bill, and you need to know which is which. Because when you come to a song, that's one of the first things you're going to have to decide. Is this a 4/4, 3/4? There are other time signatures like 6/8 and even 12/8, but 3/4 and 4/4 will cover most songs, so I would certainly start there, and you may never need to go beyond that. The next thing to do is decide if the song has an obvious fingerpicking pattern that you can watch on YouTube and see what they're doing, or if it's played with several instruments, there may not be one fingerpicking pattern that exactly fits. You just have to use your judgment of something that sounds good with the song. So for an example, if you're learning a song like, let's say, by John Denver, and you go online and find that there are videos with people playing that song on the guitar, you could watch what they're doing and either try to match one of the patterns you know with that, or even learn the pattern itself. You'll find there are a lot of songs that when you listen to them, there just isn't one fingerpicking pattern that exactly fits. You have to use your judgment. So now what you do is you go through your repertoire and try to line it up and see what pattern seems to fit. Start by figuring out if it's in 3 pulses or 4 pulses. Then pick whichever group of patterns seems to fit, either 4 pulses or 3 pulses, and start trying to line them up. Maybe play the song a little bit and see if it sounds right to you. Little by little, over time, you'll find you can even imagine in your head what pattern would sound good, and usually get it, if not the first time, with a little bit of experimenting, and it gets faster over time. One of the hardest places for me to apply a fingerpicking pattern is when the song is played like on another instrument, like the piano or a whole band. Then you really just kind of have to experiment and come up with something that sounds good to you. Keep in mind there is no absolute right or wrong, and you can get ideas from even watching people on YouTube or listening to other versions of the song and see if one fits more what you have in mind than another. And so finally, keep in mind that a song might be a good choice for some strumming and some fingerpicking. There might be a part where the song sounds good with strumming, and then a slower part where you might want to finger pick. And then back into strumming. Any case, have fun, and keep in mind that it's a process, and the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and the easier it'll get. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Tomas Michaud of Real Guitar Success Academy. Please leave me a comment. Let me know how you enjoyed this lesson, and if there's other lessons you'd like to see me make. I'll see you later. Bye.